Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I go live every Friday at 7 p.m. or whenever. I am free. I am back in the country. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a new Democratic nominee for the Texas election. Hey, Mario. Hey, Trish. They got the names back normal. Hey, Giselle. So I am just coming back from my birthday trip and I feel so refreshed. It was a wonderful trip. The flight back was bad. The flight back was bad. It was like, oh, for some reason they didn't, even though I bought it in advance, for some reason they didn't give me a good seat and I was in a middle seat. And anybody who has been in the middle seat for a short trip it's annoying, but for a long trip it's even more annoying, especially as a plus size woman. Oh, that middle seat was killing me. I hate it. Oh no, I wish I could have been gone for 2 weeks. No, my Christmas trip I save up for and plan and da 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 da. So I was able to stay longer in regards to when it's Christmas. But my birthday trip and usually any other trip, it's kind of just um if I can afford it. Yeah, but this was was just a short little. I wanted to stay longer, but I couldn't afford it. I wanted to go to so for those of you who don't know, I went to my dream. So y'all know I've talked about have I talked about how what inspires me to travel, what makes me want to go to a place? Have I thought I already talked about that with y'all. Did I already talked about that? Hey Milo. Hey, how do you say that? Is it Sephi? CL, what's your tea? Middle East is the worst. Ooh. Yeah, I flew from LA to London. Now I feel your pain. LA to ooh, yeah. Just going from LA to New York. Uh, hey Ty, how are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's free, okay. So how I choose places, since I guess I haven't talked about it. Hey Jay. So either I have had a dream of going to a place for a very long time and I'm just old enough and got enough to do it. Um Either that has happened or there's a fantasy that I want to fulfill. So for example, when I went to France, so when I was younger, I was in this I lived in Boston and I went to Arnone Elementary in Brockton, Massachusetts. And while I was there, this is like, I don't want to say this is a time that it started. This just was a time that was my home life was getting weird. This is my mom's downfall into her addiction. The very first time she ever like fell into her addiction and the world around her started to feel it. So this is 90s, this is 90, 91, 92. And so bullying has started in Indiana, but I'm coming into a new region. So it's not just um it's not just my queerness that's making me different. I'm coming from a country Mississippi family from the Midwest. And so there's a country swang about me. So when you take that to the East Coast, Boston, you stand out like a sore thumb, and you film, and it was kind of, so the bullying was kind of getting weird. And this was the first time that there was a situation where the the teachers was being weird too. It wasn't just the students. So anyway, that was the era. It was really, I didn't like it. I'm moving around. My mom is going through her shit. Bullying is getting weird. I'm like 9, 10 years old. And this is before any group home shit. This is before anything. Any my life shit is about to hit the fan. And I can feel the rumblings of it even culturally. So uh so one of my favorite teachers, his name was Mr. Vendetti. I don't even know if he's still alive because he was old then, so he probably gone on to glory, but I don't know. Mr. Vendetti, he was the teacher. I don't know if y'all have this teacher, but he was the teacher that instilled the love of reading, not just teaching you how to read, the love of it. Like the person who shows you a book that takes you to another place. That's like, oh, this is what reading is about. You read it, and it takes you to a fantasy that you're creating in your mind. That's why this is why people love to read. It ain't just sitting there. If you're a kid, like, ooh, why are you just, especially coming up in the era of video games, where it's like, who wants to sit and read a book when you can have an Atari, a Nintendo, and you can do stuff? But him introducing me to books and just the love of it, not just here's a book of your interest, the love of books, how you can really create a world based on the words in your mind. That's why when people make movies, it rarely lives up to people's expectations because their own mind is creating the story and the visual and da 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 da. So you never can live up to that when you try to remake it. So yes, his Mr. Vendetti is the teacher who made me fall in love with reading. Honestly, the vast majority of my teachers sucked, with few exceptions. Um, so so he was my favorite teacher, and he was also my escape from what was going on in the school in regards to like bullying and da 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 da. And so instead of going to recess, I would go to his class and we would talk about books. Gotcha. Um, in the moment, um, honestly, a good teacher was like finding a diamond in the rough or a last unicorn. I think that is more true today than it is to, I don't want to say true to, I think that is more likely to find a great teacher when I was growing up in school. So I was growing up in the 80s, early 80s, late 80s. So when it was the time that I'm talking about. So I think the reason why teachers have, I think there's good teachers out here. I don't want to shit on teachers. I think there's good teachers out here, but I also think that they are up against things that the teachers in the 80s, 70s, and 80s was not up against. Um, and so when we talk about funding, when we talk about classroom size, when we talk about when we talk about their ability to even focus on a child who needs special care within a class. We're not talking about like learning disabled, but just a child that has more. They had smaller classes where they can say, "Oh, this person needs this. This person needs this." It wasn't fucking 60 people in a class and they couldn't focus. It's a whole different era than what I'm talking about. I understand. Um, what you're saying, but I think that they are definitely underpaid for sure. It's a different underpaid. Not saying that they weren't paid well back then either, but definitely now underpaid and less resources. Um, Honestly, most teachers had no care and even exempt their kids in need with few exceptions. See, I don't believe that. I think teachers, you don't go into teaching without caring. I think the economic circumstances and political circumstances of their district put them in a situation where they can be burnt out. As a social justice girly who 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 has been in a cultural burnout for many times, but that's anecdotal. When you say I'm speaking from my experience, that can get very anecdotal if you're not considering the bigger picture of what teachers are going through. It kind of lean unfair, not invalidating your experience, but it can kind of get that anecdotal experience can kind of be really unfair to teachers if you're not including the bigger picture of what they're going through, especially if you're compared to what I am talking about in my era of the 80s. And you saying you came out in the 2000s and 90s, there was a shift. I think parent participation has changed. I think parents not parents used to have a little bit of time because inflation wasn't crazy. They had a little bit of time. They didn't have to work two jobs. They had a little bit of time to support what the teachers was doing as well. It's so many differences that doesn't give any excuses, but there's reasons for everything. I think some people are burnt out. I think some people are underpaid, and also their working gig job too. Not only do I'm underpaid, but I'm also don't have the time, the funding to do all that I need to do to be an effective teacher. But I also have to work too. Other jobs. I gotta do Uber. I gotta do. It's so many layers to that. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to get into. um, so my teacher, Mr. Vendetti, I would go at recess instead of me going outside to play play with the people, the assholes, the kid assholes. I would go and hang out with Mr. Vendetti, and it felt like a sanctuary. And he would introduce me to books that I love, introduce me to people that I love. This is also I started to read what I started to read Matilda. This is like third grade, third, fourth grade. And I read this book, Matilda. And so this is because of the shit that was going on at home. I really felt like Matilda. I wish I had magic powers. and and it just was a perfect book to get me like, ooh, this is interesting. So anyway, he ended up going, he went on vacation. And it was devastating to me. Like, because I couldn't go to his class and I didn't have that sanctuary, I was so like, oh my God. But what I didn't realize, and I realized it as I got older, not in the moment, but as I got older, I think Mr. Vendetti was gay. So when I look back on him and his mannerisms and his just who he was and how he engaged with me, I think that he was gay and he took an attention to me because of that. And so because and this is the 80s, 90s, you couldn't be a teacher and openly gay. You could be in certain circumstances, but this wasn't the time that you could be just openly queer um and especially as a teacher, that can open up a lot of discrimination and all kinds of weirdo shit. Um and so when and I never saw him have a wife. And you can't tell with with women, there's a miss and a missus, a difference in regards to the honorific that happens. But 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 when I look back at the pictures that he showed while he was on vacation, it was him and a who I now feel is his partner, but he never confirmed or said I'm gay and da 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 da. But there was only one him and one dude in the picture, and it just gave queer couple. Not when I was a kid, but now that I'm older, thinking back on it. You know what I'm saying? So, but it always felt like we had an inside club. It always felt like that with Mr. Vendetti. Um, so Mr. Vendetti went to vacation to France. He went to Nice, France, and he had pictures of the bluest water that I had ever seen. I had never, I come from the Midwest and being on the East Coast, that water ain't as pretty as places like if you lived in the Caribbean, like if you're from the islands and or from Florida or even Southern California, because Northern California it kind of looks Mm, too. But if you're in certain areas where they got the pretty clear ass water, um, the Florida water don't hit the same no more. You are totally right. I remember I used to go to Florida in the 90s and it was spectacular. Went there recently and I was like, ooh, this is looking like Galveston. Because Honey, Texas waters is bad. It's like one time of the year that is not bad. Um, Southern California is overrated now. So yeah, so if you've been to beaches around the world, you know that there are some beaches that are like magical. Where you like, oh my God, this is like the commercials. This is like the vacation commercials, the clear water, and you can stand and see through it, see shit swimming through it, and it's just clear and blue. Da, da. So these pictures was like the bluest waters. It was just blue and pretty and it just was France and it just the French Riviera and it just was spectacular. But in my fourth grade mind, excuse me, in my fourth grade mind, this was white people stuff. Like my mama is a crackhead. We live in poor apartments. We barely got money for food, child. We go into food pantries. So this was a total inaccessible dream of mine. So him going to it and showing me the pictures was like, oh, this is in my brain, white people stuff. Like you rich white people, so you clearly rich white people. um so it set a certain thing. It set a bar. Not intentionally, but that's what it did. It set a bar that this is what this is where rich white people go. This rich people go. Um, but definitely had a racial context to it. Because in my at this time, now as I got older, this changed, but at this time where I was, the black people around me didn't do stuff. They didn't go on vacation. They didn't. What do I know now that this is not true? Absolutely. But in the circumstances that I was in, right in that moment in the fourth grade, the black people around me were getting hit by the crack epidemic. We were not in anywhere near middle class. Um, we were not in anywhere near middle class vicinity where I would see black people going doing stuff. And so we were getting hit by the crack epidemic. That's what was happening. The war on drugs, motherfuckers was getting locked up. It was a whole different thing. Was this teacher black? No, he was white, Italian, white, but Italian. So anyway, so this was a standard. This was like, oh, this is a place that I will never get to go. This is a place that's only accessible to rich people. Diamond hair is giving me 1975 bombshell. Come on, I live. You know I love a little, uh, um, short little roller set moment. If I ain't got no curl, no big curly hair, I want it to be, soft and body with some layers. Um, so this was a place that I would never get to go to. This is a place that my little brain, my little inexperienced brain set a standard of where I would never get to go to. You feel what I'm saying? Yes. Thank you. So me going to France was a dream come true. It was like, oh, my little fourth grade brain, oh my God, I'm about to go to Nice. Spelled like nice, but it's pronounced Nice. Because that's what Mr. Vendetti said. I said, oh, I know how to read that word. That's nice. And Mr. Vincetti said, yes, that's how it's pronounced if you're reading it in English, but the pronunciation there is niece. And I was like, oh. And so I just remember the conversation with him having it. And it was like, oh. And it was like, oh, so when I went there and wanted to go there, that was the motivation. Like, oh, I am older now. I get to go to this place that has been like the standard of what I would not be able to do. And here I am grown and being able to go do it. Honestly, hold on. That's one place I want to visit, particularly Versailles. Regarding France, did you state, Diamond, that you had French Creole ancestry somewhere? Not really close. Most of my ancestry is just black folks from Mississippi, even on my dad's side. Some places in North Carolina. There are some connection to Louisiana, but it's not close. But yes, there's some French Creole distant family in me. That's where the Collier name come from. The Collier is a French name, which is my last name if you didn't know. Collier. Collier. Um, the love that he put on you and gave you early cultural cachet. Yes, absolutely, for sure. The crack epidemic was heavy on my family. That's where we're well-to-do, living in Key West and own businesses, and got hit hard. So I remember going back with, oh, this was my saving spot, and it was not that. I can see that. You definitely have a Creole Lady Marmalade look. Word. So yeah, so that was that fantasy. So I wanted to go to France, and boom. In like 1999, not 99, 09, I was on the internet, YouTube, y'all remember, who have been there. Hey, Brianna. Y'all remember. So this is my early days of YouTube. And so it was exposing me to different kind of people, like because of the internet, because of YouTube. It was exposing me to people that I had never thought about. Like I found this. I don't even think his page is still up anymore, but his name was Black Irish Dude. And I didn't know Black people live in Ireland. And as ignorant as that may sound, it's not that I didn't know, I didn't think about it. It wasn't like I was like, ain't no Black people in Ireland. No, it wasn't that. It's just that I didn't even think about Ireland enough to think about how many Black people live in Ireland. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think about them like that. So when I hear him, I hear this Irish accent on this fine ass Black boy, where I'm like, oh my God, I've never thought about this, whatever this cultural mix is happening. He is a Black boy. He was Nigerian, but he was born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. And so his accent sound like leprechaun is what I associated with, Ireland. Oh, he's giving Scottish. He's giving that Irish accent. What? I never met a black boy that talked like this. And it was so cute to me. He was cute and it was so cute. So this sparked a seed of I want to go to Ireland and meet me a black Irish boy because that is hot. That is so sexy. So I gotta go to Ireland to see what that's about. See if I can meet me a black Irish boy. So that literally is what sparked me wanting to going down a rabbit hole of black people in Ireland and following people and meeting people, not meeting in person, but seeing them through social media, seeing them. I was like, oh, I'm going to end up going to Ireland because I want to explore that. And I want to hook up with a black Irish boy. Boom. So last year, when I went to Ireland for my birthday, that was the goal. The fantasy was to go to a pub, meet a hot black Irish boy, take him back to my room and rock his world. And so that was the fantasy that I was creating for myself. So that was a sexual fantasy, but there's other fantasies that I wanted that I have that I want to do. So that's how so for example, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm sciencey nerdy. I love animals and science and da 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 da. So I wanted to go to Hobbit Town. What I was going to New Zealand for was to go to Hobbit Town. They have a town that is from the Shire from Lord of the Rings. They have a town that they have created that looks like the Shire for the movie, and they just once the movie was done, they kept it, and now it's like a touristy thing. And so because I'm a Lord of the Ring fan, I wanted to go to the Shire and take some picture there and just be in my Lord of the Ring. Yes. It's the Shire with the round wooden doors where the hobbits live, the Shire. Yes, it's a whole town that's built like that. And so I wanted to go there because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. And also there are caves in New Zealand that have bioluminescent glowworms. And so I wanted to go see them. And the best time to go see them is in the spring. And so for them, this is like summer, springtime, or summer. Yeah, summer. We're not on the same winter, spring season type stuff. This is our winter and their summer or spring, somewhere around there. Anyway, so I wanted to go see that. And so I went. I planned to go to just Auckland to do the Hobbit Town and the glowworm stuff. But when I Googled what else, I'm also somebody, and you should be somebody like this too, if you are planning trips. See what other places are close to where you are going and just research how much it costs to just get to those places. Like, I didn't know that when I was going to Paris, when I was going to France, that London is like a 45-minute flight. So you can, if you're staying in Paris for 3 weeks, you can take a couple of days and fly to London. Take a couple of days and fly to Amsterdam. All of Texas is bigger than all of these fucking places together. Like this, Texas, England, and a lot of Europe fits in Texas. So you can take a train to these places, right? You can fly quick. It's just an easy way to do stuff that I didn't think about when I was planning travel when I was younger. So I loved that. So because I learned that with my Paris trip, I was like, oh, Switzerland isn't that far. We could have went to Switzerland. So many things could have happened while we was there that I learned my lesson. So my lesson was look and see what other places is by so you can hit multiple stops while you're there. So this trip, I was going to Auckland for what I was going for, but Sydney, Australia is not far from there. So I was like, okay, well, how much? What's the pricing looking like? What's the time? What can I make Sydney work? So when I was Googling, I found out on the day of my birthday, February 28th, they have a LGBT Mardi Gras in Sydney every year, ever since the 70s. So it's like their gay pride. And so they have yeah. And so I was like, what? I need to I mean, what the fuck? It's a whole parade. It's a whole the whole city is shut down for the gays. Like it's like they into it. Like it is what it's dope. So I was like, I mean, duh, it's on my birthday. I got to do that. So that's what I did. I said, I switched my flight to where I flew into Sydney, flew from Sydney to Auckland, and then Auckland back to Houston. So I got to hit, so I was there for a week. And so I got to hit Sydney for the first half of the week. So I got there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, left on Sunday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and go back Thursday to Houston. So that's what I was able to do, and I was able to get in my dream stuff that I wanted to do, my glowworm stuff. What I didn't get to do was my hobbit stuff. So I didn't get to do that. I got to do something else that I wanted to do, but it wasn't on the top list. I didn't get to do my hottest stuff. So do not be a dumb bitch like me and don't do pre-planning. I did do pre-planning, but I didn't know I I didn't know that I needed to be so far in advance. So usually when I go to places, you can just buy a tour a couple of days in advance. But because I guess it's super popular, these are booked up a month in advance. The tours to go to, and you can only get to the Hobbit town through a tour. They don't keep it's not open to the public. You have to go you because it's a movie set, it's not open to the public. You have to go to it. Um so yeah, because there's some other stuff that I found out about New Zealand that I want to explore. So I also didn't know New Zealand was drastically separated by North Island and South Island. Hold on, did y'all just hear somebody knock? Let me look at my ring. Oh, oh, it's a package. I'm like, who was knocking on my door? Okay. Um, yeah, don't forget to thumbs up. Hey Will. So I did see the Sydney Opera House. It's beautiful. Now the so anyway, wait, let me before I go to that. So yeah, so you have to plan in advance. And so usually I know you got to order in advance, but usually the advance means a couple of days before. This shit you got to be a month in advance. So when I looked at it, it was booked until mid-March. So it's almost like a month in advance before you have to figure it out. Where I'm like, damn. Because usually when I do a tour, I can just couple of days. Like you can't do a day of because then the tour is booked out. But usually, you 3 or 4 days in advance, you can get a ticket. But honey, not this Hobbit place, baby. You got to be like 3 to 4 weeks in advance to figure it out. So by the time I get there, I can only do the glowworm, and then I got to do this tour of this Native American tribe there because they really fuck with the indigenous people there, and so I was able to the Maori. Um, I was able to go to. They have a whole little city that they kind of run, and it's this tourist stuff that they do. And so, which I actually wanted to do that, but it was like third on my list. So I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I did. So I didn't get to do the hobbit stuff. And the what kind of threw some alcohol on the wound was that we had to drive past to get from the indigenous town to the glowworm cave. We had to drive past the fucking hobbit town. We couldn't go to it. I was like, no, this is what I wanted to do. This was number one on my list to go do. So I couldn't go do that. And so it was a little devastating where I was like, oh, damn. But I did have a good fucking time. But yes, when we went, but that was the last leg of my trip. Going to Sydney. Sydney was fire. First of all, Sydney is Australia. So Australia got a lot of weird shit, like as far as like animals and just a lot of weird ass shit. Not weird, but just different because it's a fucking island. And so the animals had to evolve in their own little space. And so they all look way different than our animals. And they look like some of the animals that we have, but they just look different. Like it'll be something that you've seen before. Like it's exactly like you think. Like a platypus. Like we know what a platypus is, but a platypus looked like a mixture of animals. It looked like a beaver with a duck nose. You get what I'm saying? Like a duck bill, which is a duck bill platypus. So it looks like somebody took parts of something from here and took from here and then put it together. That's a bunch of fucking animals in Australia. Like just running around, their normal shit be looking like mutations of other shit that we know. Like for example, there was this bird. It was moving like a seagull. Like you by the water, it's following people. Like it's just around like a normal seagull, the white gull with the yellow beak, the seagull that you see all the time. But take a seagull and morph his face in a way that make it look like a pug. Like how a pug dog, their face looks smushed in. That's how this seagull face look. His face looks smushed. But that's how their normal look. Then there's this thing walking around. It looks like a turkey, but it got some big ass feet. Like it looks like a turkey. It looks like the size of a turkey, but it just got some big fucking dinosaur feet where you like, God, his fucking feet are huge. Why the fuck is his feet so huge? And he's just walking around like pigeons, like a normal bird walking around. And so you like, why the fuck is it? So I Googled it, and it's a bird. I did get to see kiwis. Now, the problem with seeing kiwis is that kiwis are nocturnal. They be busy at night, and they don't be around humans. So I'll talk about them. I'll come back to them. So the bird with the big ass feet, what I learned about them, they look like a turkey. And you looking at them, they look kind of scary because they got them big ass feet and they're just walking around like normal little birds. So you like, bitch, better back up or whatever. And because they're coming up on you. They're like, they really ain't stunting you, but they look scary because you ain't never seen no birds like this. And so what I learned about them is that they are birds that, so the female lays the eggs and the male creates the nest around them. And they use their feet to bring all the stuff. While they have big ass feet, they bring all their feet trying to make this nest for the eggs. So the female lays the eggs and go on by her business. She don't take care of the eggs at all. She lays them and bye. And the dude do all the work. Period. And so the dude takes his feet and brings all the leaves and the sticks and the brush with his feet to the eggs. And he has a special thing in his mouth that detects temperature. And they have to be the perfect temperature to get the babies to hatch. And so he either is bringing sticks and stuff to the eggs to make it a certain temperature and sticking his tongue in there to make sure it's the right temperature, or he's taking brush off. And so he sits there and watches the brood, watches the nest, and he adjusts the temperature as it goes on. He keeps following it. He keeps checking on it and figuring it out how it's supposed to be doing. Like, okay, it's a little cold. Let me put some heat on it. Do, 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 do. Not by sitting on it, by putting things over it. Um, and so that's why their fucking feet are so big, because they have to do that shit, that gathering, and their feet is huge. They look like dinosaur feet on a fucking on a on like a turkey. So what else do we see? What else do I see as far as animals? Also, the nuance about Sydney is every place they're very intentional about making every location in the city a place where you can sit down and enjoy a beautiful moment. Like, it looks like, so none of the benches have any of those spikes on it where they're not trying to get homeless to lay down. Every place is meant to look like beautiful. Like, even you could go to some obscure spot and they done created a little space where you can sit down and enjoy the view of the tree. The one tree, this big old pretty tree, and you sitting down. And it could be every place you went, it was something like that. Like, we're trying to make this place beautiful. It was super, super clean. And it you can tell that they're not against their homeless. Like, you can tell that they're not being like shady to them, like making it so that people can't sit down and rest and people can't sit down and enjoy themselves. It's really intentionally like, we're trying to make it beautiful where you can anywhere you sit in the city. And this was everywhere. This wasn't just like touristy spots, because I'm a person that I like getting lost, intentionally lost in cities. So I will walk to areas. I'll find a I'll find a spot that is intentionally somewhere that's like a residential area and not a touristy area, and go to a coffee shop there and then walk around and just walk and just see what's out, see, talk to people and chit chat and, hey, how you doing? And usually when people hear your accent, they hear you American and they want to talk to you, and so they talk to you and wondering why you chose Sydney or why you chose here and how did you get to this neighborhood. Like, how did you get, usually the tourists is way over here. What made you come to this coffee shop? Or they just asking you questions because your voice. And so I like those experiences. I like those interactions. And so I intentionally make them happen. And so yeah, I went to this across from the Sydney Opera House, which at the time that I was out, it was drizzling. Like, it's not raining, like pouring down rain, but it's like drizzling. So it doesn't look super pretty. It doesn't look like pictures. It looks like it just was raining. So shit. It wasn't giving, ooh, this is so pretty in the sense of that. It was giving, I'm about to show you a picture. It's giving rainy. Rainy season, honey. No, these can't fly. They're flightless. These is in the mindset of like emus and shit. So this is the pier. And see how it was raining? Well, right here it was raining a little bit harder, but I had a umbrella, so it was cool. Because I had looked up my damn I had looked up what the weather was gonna be and it said it was gonna rain. But here is the harbor. So it was drizzling. And so there's the opera house right there. But you see how it just looks because it's raining, it don't look all bright and white and pretty like it normally looks. But I was there, so I really wasn't fucking mad. I just was like, oh, it was meant for it to be rain while I'm here, so I'm just gonna enjoy it and not think, oh my god, it's raining. Not cassowary. No, no, no. We're talking about another. I'll talk about cassowaries in a minute. But it's another. Yeah, but it was drizzling. Like you know how you somewhere that you was waiting to see it in its sunlight, clear skies type of vibe, but it was drizzling, so it wasn't as like majestic as I thought it was gonna be. But it was cool. It was like, oh, it was given just rainy, but it's cool. I wouldn't. That's another thing. I don't let stuff that I can't control dampen my spirits during my fucking trip. If some shit happened that I can't control, all right, how we make the most of it. That's another travel tip. Don't let shit damp you. There's certain parts where they out in the streets. There's certain parts that you can go and I'll show you where they out in the streets and they tell you, baby, leave them alone. They will kill you. Like they the most dangerous birds. They are deadly, honey. They will kill you. They tell you that they have signs. Don't feed them. Oh, here you go. So they just walk, and this is me just walking. I'm just walking in this neighborhood, trying to get to. I just Googled where the lookouts were, so I can look at to see the opera house, and just walk through that neighborhood till I got to the lookout. I have found this little where's the food? I found a little spot. I don't know what it was called. I can't remember what it was called, but the food was amazing, fresh and good. Um, I'm very silly about the situation. I'm here. Nothing can dampen my vibe when I'm somewhere I want to be. Exactly. That's how I am too. If it was meant to rain, it was meant for me to experience in the rain. Let's go. That's how I be. Um, the other thing that I like to do is, I'm gonna try to find me some gay shit going on. So if y'all remember the movie, is it Priscilla, the Queen of the Desert, the drag film? Priscilla, the Queen of the Desert. Is it Priscilla? Ain't it Priscilla? I think that's the name of it. Y'all know what movie I'm talking about? The drag movie. So at in the movie, there is in the movie there's a club that they go to that's featured in the film, and I went to that club. It's called the Imperial, and went to be a drag show. I don't want to play the music, but um they're doing a drag number, They're doing what's the song? They're doing Shirley Bassey. Um, dun, 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 yeah. Just a little bit of history repeating. History repeating. They're doing that's what they're doing. So they're looking at art and different types of art, and they're doing the song, um, doing the song. So it's in this particular number, it's two AMAB drag queens and an AFAB drag queen. Like they they all dress up and they're doing the number. So at their club, it ain't just AMAB drag queens. The cis girls being drag too. Very, RuPaul Drag Race about it. Very they were killing it though. Then they did this number. I don't remember what song. I don't want to play it to let me see what song they were doing. I don't know what song they were doing, but they were killing it. They were punching through, doing the little, their little drag number. They didn't do any individual drag, like one person on stage. They all had their it was very much like Coyote Ugly, where they would get on the now they was turned up though. It was fun. The whole club was packed and it was fun. We had a good ass time. And the Caucasians was in the house. But it was super packed and the club was super big. Like Thailand drag, it's always a production. Yes, it was given production. It wasn't individual based, which kind of it makes sense if you compare how America is individualistic compared to other countries. It shows up in different places, and I feel like that's an example. Um, they always turn up. They were getting on the bar, doing numbers on the bar and dancing, and it was cute. I loved it. It was fun. Um, what else? Oh, but I didn't record this because I was just living in the moment. But of course, they got the parade, y'all. So I recorded the parade. So the parade was sickening, and I did different. I just was standing, like y'all know, like a parade, and you just stand there, and I was just recording every little second of them doing their little thing, and it was cute. I loved it. But okay, so it's y'all done been to a parade, so y'all know how a parade goes. Y'all on the sides of the streets, and y'all watching them walk down the street. So this is normal. What's not normal for me is the magnitude. The magnitude of participation. Like it's not just the gays, it's the city. Like it was like, oh wow, like this is a city production. This isn't just a gay thing. It's like we love our gays here and we all participating in this. Like they had a float for teachers. They like the Department of Education of Sydney had a float in the pride parade, in the parade. And so teachers it just was it was the magnitude of participation. Um and this part I did, like I said, I didn't record it because I was living in the moment. So once I left the spot where I was recording the parade, I walked through the crowd of people, and it was like, wow. It just, the magnitude of everybody being there, and only thing that comes close to this, and it still is different, was like San Francisco Pride and New York Pride. It But New York Pride, you can tell that it was the gays that was running it, and it just wasn't a citywide. They knew it was happening, but yeah, around Christopher Street, you had seen all the flags and da da da. But if you go somewhere else in the city, you ain't gonna see what's going on with Pride. You get what I'm saying? But in Sydney, during this Mardi Gras, it's everywhere. Everywhere. It just felt like everybody was participating. Straights, gays. It just felt like everybody was participating. It was wild. And so I'm walking through, and you're just walking through this sea. Imagine, like, I don't know. It's I don't know how many blocks. It was so many blocks. Think about like 10 to 15 blocks of seas of people. But it's the whole block. So it's not like super, super packed, a little bit, but everybody's having fun. It ain't like, I don't know. It just was fun. It just was fun as hell. And I don't really be liking gay shit like that. But I'm walking, I'm looking good. This is the outfit that I have on while I'm tipping through the streets. Let me see if I can find the video. Oh, I don't know where I put it. I had that outfit on that I had the flowy pants with. I think I posted a video of it. Oh yeah, this one. This one. Mm. Well, I'm looking cute. But everybody lived for it because it was so grand and flowy, and people was just like, "Oh my God, you look so fabulous." I said, "Thank you." And you just had enough space to, the whole street is yours to be a runway. So I'm tipping through, and the wind is blowing because it's not raining at this point, but you know how right before it rains it's like windy, and you can smell the rain coming, but it's not there yet. That was the vibe. You can smell the rain coming, and people was preparing for it to rain, so you can be out there dancing in the. I was not. As soon as it got to raining, I'm out of here. But it didn't. It just smelled like it was coming. But the wind was blowing, and the music is on. Everybody is turned up and jumping and having fun. And you walking down this block because the city done cut off the streets. The city done cut the streets off, so can't no cars drive through. So you can just walk in the middle of the street, and the wind is blowing, and the pants is flowing, and it just was, and everybody is just being sickening. Like, everybody's like, yes, it just was such a vibe. It was such a fucking vibe. And I was like, I was alone by myself, but this is my birthday, literally my birthday, and I am in a place that I've never been. I don't know nobody. I ain't trying to know nobody. I'm just feeling this vibe alone in the moment. The people, they seeing me and saying I look sickening. So I'm gonna live in the vibe. And that's what it was. It felt like, think about just like walking down 10 blocks and everybody is just, Everybody else is looking good. You looking good. The ambiance is a turn up. And I'm walking through and I see this fine ass dude and we lock eyes and he wink at me, let you know, bitch, you still got it. It's just so many moments in this vibe that was like, ooh. And he stick his tongue out and it just was, everything was so cute. Everything was just so cute. The straights weren't being weird. Like the straights, it was straight boys out there. It was straight girls, gay boys. It just was so, that was the magnitude of the participation. It was magical. It was fire. I loved it. It was so amazing. What else? Then I go to the wildlife. I go to the wildlife park the next day. When that's all over, the next day it's like, hey, let's go do something else. So I said my birthday dream a lot was also I want to pet a kangaroo. And so I went to this wildlife park. And so there's a place that you can go where the kangaroos are wild and you might see them, you might not, because they're more active in dusk and dawn. So you have to be out there either super, super early or super, super late. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But I also don't want to, I had went to a spot and I saw them and I was like, oh no, I need a more controlled environment. I didn't know that male kangaroos were so big. I expected them to be, like a kangaroo, but I didn't know that they were like 6 feet tall, like 6 feet plus. They like 6'2", 6'1", 6 feet and a half. Like they tall as shit. They're not like, like, ooh. They're like 6 foot and they look muscly. Like they look like a strong ass animal. And they got these long ass fucking talons. And when they're full grown, they are big as shit. So I'm thinking, and got nails, right? So, and them big ass feet that they can kick you with, and the nails on the feet. Like, not only can they kick you hard as shit, like they got some strong ass fucking legs that they've been hopping on for their whole fucking life. They got a little sharp thing on them that will get you together with that. It ain't just a kick like a push. It's a stab you, bitch. It will wear you out. And so I go to the little spot and the people said the dudes is aggressive, baby. I said, oh baby, I'm not about to go and mess with them. I was like, but I want to pet a kangaroo. Where is a place that I'm guaranteed to be able to pet them? You was imagining a wallaby. I wasn't imagining a wallaby. I was imagining like 4 foot. I was imagining like a 4 foot, even 5 foot. I was imagining the females. The females are like 5 foot. That's what the females look like is what I was imagining. What the females look like is what I was imagining. That all of them look like, but I didn't know the dudes was like, we niggas. So we buff, honey. The fish and dainty about it is small, and the trade is honey tall, tranny height. It was giving big and scary. I was like, oh, I don't even want to be close to them. They are big and scary. So no, I don't even want to be close. They're too scary. And so I go to the Featherdale Wildlife Park because when I Googled, they said that that's the place that you are guaranteed to be able to be with the kangaroo, and it's not wild. So we go in there, and so when I go in there, the first thing that you see is some real wallabies. So wallabies are small. Wallabies are like, they're like 2 to 3 feet. They ain't tall. They little. And so you see them, and I'm like, I want to see some kangaroos. But you going through and you seeing all the other wild ass shit. I posted a video of on my YouTube with it. So if y'all want to see it, make sure y'all go see my shorts. But yeah, I get in there, and in the kangaroo area, when you go into the kangaroo area, you are in with the kangaroos. They are not in a cage or anything. When you walk in, you in there with them. Like they can walk up on you. So it's not like they have a lot of stuff caged off. Anything that bites or that can attack you, they have a lot of it caged off. So like the emus, you can't go in there with them because emus will wear you out. Cassowaries, you can't go in there with them. They will attack you, wear you out. No. So anything that will attack, they don't let you. You can't walk in it. But I guess the kangaroos, they are used to humans, so they're not. They cool, and they're girls. So when you're in there with them, you're not in there with the boys. It's nothing but the girls. So you in there, and they cool. And so soon as you walk in, I'm thinking that there's gonna be like a fence where they can't get to you, but they also are used to you feeding them because they give you this this cup of food. And so they're used to you feeding them. So when you walk in, baby, they coming up to you like, don't you got something for me? Don't you got something for me? Where it's at? And they smart. They're not like, they're smart. They're like, hey, we looking dead at you. Like it ain't no, y'all remember that part of the Jurassic Park, the very first Jurassic Park, when they explain to you that T-Rex, they can't really see you. They can't really tell based on their sight, they can't see you, but the raptors can look dead at you and see you clear and wear you out. Because we ain't like the T-Rex that can't see. We can see, and we can look dead at you in your eyes, bitch. We about to eat you up. That's how the kangaroos felt. Like in my brain, they felt like, oh, other animals was kind of like, not they couldn't see, but kangaroos is looking at you like, hey, bitch, what's the tea? And engaging with your body language and giving you body language. Like, for example, one of the girls come in, the females come over to my little cup, and I'm feeding her a little cup. But over on the way, and this is like a big area, so it's not like a little small cage. It's not a cage at all. They brought y'all in the kangaroo brothel, right? The girls needed their things. And so it's like, imagine like a dog park. That's how big the space is. So they could be over in the corner and run, jump into you. Like imagine like the size of a big dog park where there's enough space for the dogs to run, like a park. And so I'm over here with this one because when I come in, she knows I got some food for her. So she jumps over to me, and it's not busy. It's not like a bunch of people are there. Like when I came into the gate, I was by myself. So she know the other fish was over there. The other female kangaroos was over there in the corner. And when I guess they had enough, or because I'm not coming there early in the morning, I'm coming there like kind of in the afternoon. So I guess they like, girl, we ain't worried about her. But I guess this one, she's like, oh, I didn't get enough to eat. So baby, I know she got something for me. So I see her, she like, doom. Because their feet don't do like this. Their feet says, do, do, do. And so when they coming towards you, it's like, Oh, now she ain't big. She like 5'2". She ain't big, like scary big, but she's an animal. So you like, oh. And so I'm like, oh, she about to come up to me. And I'm like, okay. So I put my thing out and she's eating it. Like she's eating through the eating in the cup. And she let you rub her. She's sweet. Real passable, right? She's sweet. So you rubbing on her and they're sweet. They're just sweet. They're like dogs. Here you go. But the zookeeper, it's not a zoo, so I don't know what to call them. The keeper, the people who work there. She comes in and she brings this big ass tree. It ain't no tree, but it's like a bunch of branches, like a bunch of branches with leaves on it. So she brings it over and she throws it in the middle of the park. And so all of those females that was over there chilling, not worried about me, they came over to where she dropped the branches off. So there's some food for them to eat. And so I think they eat eucalyptus. No, that's koalas. Kangaroos might eat eucalyptus, but not koalas only eat eucalyptus. That's the only thing they eat. And they have chlamydia too. So they tried to get me to take some pictures with them. I was like, ooh, I'm not about to take no pictures, touch them. They got chlamydia. No, thank you. They was laughing at me because I said that. But it's the fucking truth. A lot of them have chlamydia. They was like, ours don't. Bitch, we clean ours. Our hose is clean. I was like, I know, but maybe, but I know that koalas got chlamydia. A lot of them out in the wild got chlamydia, and I don't want to touch y'all koalas. No, thank you. They said we give our koalas antibiotics where they don't have that issue. But you are right. You are right that in the wild, a lot of them have chlamydia. I know. I know, baby. You're not about to get me. So they were cracking up, laughing at me about that. I was like, nah, let them these other people take the picture, not me. I don't even want to touch them. But they look cute. They look adorable. But anyway, so while I'm feeding the one kangaroo that came over to me, while I'm feeding her, the lady brings those branches in, and all the other girls tip over to the branches and start eating the branches. Our koalas on Prep and Doxy, right? We get our koalas together. They are free in here, free, disease free. And so while I'm feeding the girl, she like, that's literally what she does. Because I'm in front of her and the branches is over here, way on the other side of the little area. Like, I don't know how not a block away, not that, like a half a block away. Like, think about like a half a block. And so she done threw the trees down. And so the girl is there by me. She like she literally does like this. Like, what they over there eating? Did she just bring some food in here? She reaching into my cup. Now, what should I do? Should I go over there where them leaves is at, or sit right here with this girl by myself and eat this food right here? Cause I ain't gotta share it with nobody. And I say, cause I see what she doing. I say, girl, do you want to go over there and get you some videos? Right. She like, oh, they done dropped the good shit out. And I'm like, oh, you must want to go over there and get you some videos. And I guess Miss Thing said, nah, I'm cool. Cause she was looking like this to look. And then she said, like, nah, I'm cool. And sat with me. and ate my little food with her because she ain't got to share it with the girls. The girls is over there sharing the little branch, and you can hear them kind of rustling and not fighting, but like they're having to figure out who gonna get what branch and da da da. And she was like, "Oh, girl, you got a whole little treat for me by myself, and ain't nobody over here, so I'm about to fuck with you." I was like, "Yes, that's what I'm talking about, client tree. Focus on your client." Like when Diamond had, what was the dude name? What was the dude? The little weirdo dude that showed up at her house before he got turned into a weirdo. And he was like, "You want to go into the VIP?" And she was like, "No, Myron." I wasn't his name Myron. Myron. She was like, "No, I'm okay right here with you, Myron." Oh, was it Walter? Oh yeah. I was like, "Uh-huh." That's exactly how it was given. So like, I'm gonna stay right here with you. Them bitches can fight over that little tree. It'll be there. It was super, super cute. But I actually got to pet her because she was so sweet. And it was unexpected. I thought that they were gonna bring one out and then you can touch that one, baby, like they did with the koalas. But no, you are in there with them. They're walking around, laying down. Let me show y'all some of the videos I took. They're walking around, laying down, chilling. Just laid out, fish about it, honey. Laid on our sides, baby. Oh, that's a snake neck turtle. You know, she was just chilling. Oh, look at her laying on the ground, stretching. That's the one I'm talking about, her right here. She was cool. And so this area goes all the way far. Like it goes a far, far, far away. Um, Look at her. They do kind of look like deer. Like deer that's kind of like not deformed. It's not deformed. It's just like if you reconfigure deers or reconfigure rats or something, like they look like reconfigured things. And these are the emus, honey, baby. I said, baby, I know y'all will fight because I watch. This is her, me feeding her with the cup of food that they give us for her. She says, "Bitch, I will kick you." Yeah, it was wild. It was super wild, but I loved it. It was good. Um, I got to do that, so that was fun. I loved it. It was fire. Love, 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 love. It was amazing. So I got to do some queer stuff. I got to do some nature stuff. I got to do just meet people and talk to people. Um, so, the freshness of the food was delicious. Anything that's just like the fresh stuff was really, really good. Like I ordered some avocado toast, and it just was the most immaculate avocado toast that I have ever experienced in my life. Avocado toast isn't like some like ooh special thing, but this was a special avocado toast. Like I hate that I don't have I guess I deleted it. It just was the freshness of everything. in the fucking meal. Let me see if I can find the picture. The tomatoes was fresh. The Everything just was fresh as fuck. Now, what was lackluster was the so like it just was everything was fucking fresh. These was like poached eggs. So when well, what do you call the eggs when you can crack them open and they spill out the yellow yolk? So like the avocado, the bacon, the fucking tomatoes, like you can tell that these are grown like garden tomatoes. It just was so perfect, like in regards to the freshness. The seafood, I want to try their kini sea urchin and white sauce. No, I didn't try any of the seafood. Not that I know of, that I remember. This was the most like standout, amazing like food stuff where I was like, oh, it's just it was the freshness of everything. Like you know how you can tell when somebody grew the vegetables in the garden as opposed to going to the store. It just was so fresh in regards to that, and it was like, oh wow, this is dope. Um, there was a Ethiopian place that I ate at New Zealand that was so good too. Let me see if I did I take some pictures of the food in Ethiopia not Ethiopia, but in the Ethiopian restaurant. No, I didn't take any pictures of the food. No, but the Ethiopian restaurant was A1 delicious. Um, because a lot of them, I guess, a vegan is popular there. Being vegan is popular than usual. There is a lot of vegan options, man. Like a lot. Like was a burger place that only did vegan burgers, and it was good. Like it was delicious. Um, but they also do regular burgers is fucking good too because their beef isn't processed as much as like ours is. So it was good. Um, Also, Sydney gave you like city, San Francisco, Dallas kind of vibes. I know those are two kind of different, but that's what it was giving me. It was giving me very Dallas. It was giving me very Dallas. But New Zealand gave me Seattle. And if you ever been to Seattle, you know what I'm talking about. Seattle is dingy. Seattle is kind of very non-binary about it, very dingy, very musty, very Caucasian dreadlocks. Um Seattle, you know, everybody got top 5 strands of weed that they like, exotic weed. Or I like everybody know are experts on weed. Everybody, because everybody, smoke or do something. Um, it's very Seattle. It's very dingy. People be musty because they don't wear deodorant. People be dingy and dingy and dingy and dingy and dingy. Grunge, very Nirvana, very jean skateboard and flannels, very I don't care about how I look and it's intentional. Like I want to give off the impression that I don't care about how I look, but so I'm intentionally looking dingy because I want to give off the impression that I don't care about what I look. A bit rustic hippie about it. And not because when I think of hippie, I think of like 60s hippies where they at least was clean. They grew their hair out, their clothes was clean, they made their clothes. When I think hippie, I think it's still maintained. That's what I guess that's what it you can be hippie and still high maintenance. It's just that I still comb my hair. I still brush my hair. Hippies give me. I still bathe. I still comb my hair. I I may have made my frocks, my things that I have on, handmade them, but I care about my look. The grunge girls, they give like I just got out of bed and put on a dirty t-shirt, and so I'm a little musty. I might not moisturize. I get up and do a bong. I don't know. It's something of there's some kind of it's a little different than what I think of as hippie. But the landscape was beautiful. And then we go to the geyser, which was cool. This is like the mud, y'all. It was boiling, y'all. Like we be on volcanoes and shit. And so this was like, you see it popping, like it's boiling, y'all. Let's see if I can make it go. Like it's bubbling. Think about like a natural place where it's just mud and bubbling. Ugh, it was kind of wild. Where I was like, ooh, and it was a bunch of these just kind of around. I was like, it's so hot that it's simmering. And so they said that like you can put this mud on you and like if you get burned, it'll heal you. I was like, ooh, and you can feel the heat. It was like it was wild. I had I had never seen this type of stuff in person. Volcano shit, bull mud, yes. And then you go. This is when we went to the place I said that was a third on my list. They have a school where they teach them their classic wood carvings. The native people teach them there. Um, and this is this geyser about to explode. Let me see. So it was cute. I was like, "Ooh, I never saw this before." And then like the rocks are you can feel like the volcano on under you, and because the rocks are steaming, like you can feel the warmth under your feet. Like if you there's another place where you can kind of sit down, but imagine the land is boiling under you and it's just steaming around you. It was wild. I was like, "Ooh, this kind of feels scary." Yeah. So In New Zealand, aren't the native folks called or consider themselves to be black? I don't think so. I think the Aboriginal people, but in New Zealand, the Maori, or the Tauri, or what is it? I think it's Maori. I don't think they do. But I think they do feel like, I do think that they feel like they the niggas of the of the land, like the oppressed ones. But they given very Pacific Islander. But the Aboriginal people, the ones that I met, yes, they consider themselves black. But that was in Sydney. The ones that I talk to now, I'm pretty sure there's some nuance to that too. Cause they look black. I mean, they look, these are the lighter versions, but there's some darker versions like him. And yeah, these ones that look like this, yes, the ones that I met that was out in the wild. I was about to say out in the wild. The ones that was out in the streets, the regular people that were just out. When you sit down and have a conversation with them, they the niggas. You can tell that they culturally align with the black people. But you can also tell the difference comparative to the Maori ones. Like you can just kind of tell that they don't align with us. But the dark skinned Aboriginal people that I met, they was the black people of Australia or New Zealand, because it's a cross pollinating thing happening too. Whereas Pacific Islander, yeah, they consider themselves indigenous. Yeah, but I can tell by the language. Maori is New Zealand, yes. The Aboriginal ones in Sydney, when you sit down and talk to them, you can tell that they are the black people of that land. Like if you wanted to compare, you can tell the dark skinned Aboriginals, they consider themselves black. Like they said it out their mouth. Whereas the Maori people is similar to like the Pacific Islander when you go like on the West Coast, or when you go over there, it's like, ooh, y'all don't connect with us in that kind of way. Some of them do, especially if they dark skinned. Like I remember when I went to Hawaii and I went to the Polynesian Cultural Center, and we went over to, they have, how the cultural center is set up is just made different islands. Um, and so some of them, the ones that face discrimination like us, yes, they fuck with us. They make the connection. Like when the Fijian people that I met, it's something about the Fijian people, they look black. Like they look like black people. They got afros and shit. It's like, oh, and they also talk about the difference between more Eurocentric beauty. Whoever fit more Eurocentric beauty of Pacific Islanders, they are praised. Like even when you Google, like just now, I Google Aboriginal, and it was given light skinned people. But in person, there's some darks. There's some dark skinned people, a lot of them. They don't show you the dark skinned ones. They show you like light skinned ones. Um, but like when you, so it's all colorism, just so y'all know. Colorism, featureism, texturism. The closer you are to African, the more demonized you are. And the further you are from them, the more praised you are. So the ones that look African that I sat down and talked to multiple times while I was in Australia, they were very black adjacent. Even how they talk, even everything about them, you can tell that. This is another thing I kind of want to talk about too. Motherfuckers don't like us. Motherfuckers will act like they don't like us, but they fucking love us. And when it comes to taste making around the world, we are the standard. Black Americans are the fucking standard. Like when you go over there and when they want to turn up, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to music, when it comes to shit, they are stealing our shit. The cool shit is shit we created. The cool shit in other countries, and I'm not talking about every country has their own little stuff that's specific to them. But when it comes to what is current, what is cool, what is a part of the party scene, like I was listening to the music that they were playing in the Australian club, and it was all Black Americans. Every song that was the turn up, even from the old school stuff, shit, when they was playing the old school stuff, it was Black Americans. Whatever is considered cool, it come from Black Americans. They don't want to admit it. They want to act like we ain't shit, or they want to homogenize us and make us like we with the white Americans. Is similar to how it is here in the home, at home, where we know we are the tastemakers of shit. Even when they try to act like they contributed. The fuck no. So and this is y'all know I done traveled everywhere. I done traveled everywhere in this fucking world. Except for only continent I haven't been in is South America. The furthest I've been down is Dominican Republic. That's the furthest I've been down in the Americas. So I haven't been to like Peru, Brazil, Colombia. I haven't been to that area of the world. Any other place I have in regards to continents. I do want to go to South Africa. I do want to go. There's places I still want to go, but everywhere I have been thus far in my life, I think I've been to 37 countries now. Our music, our culture, our shit, Black American shit is the cool stuff. Period. And so when you get out in the world, people will engage with you. People will tell you about what they live for, about America. And then when you hear, if you just pay attention to what they're saying, it's our shit. Even if they try to claim that they don't like Americans. Because let me give you a perfect example. So when I went into Priscilla's, I'm sitting there. This is what I got on. Let me see if I have some pictures of what I have on. I don't think I have a full body pictures, but I can give you the general idea, I guess. Oh, baby, this was some rustic ass food. Look at this. baby. It wasn't nasty, but it was like it felt like I was on the frontier. Like it was it wasn't nasty, but it wasn't seasoned well. But like the chicken felt like they just boiled the chicken. It was it was quite it felt rustic. It felt like I imagine food was cooked before spices was spread around the world. um all right, so I have on a bell sleeve. It's not a gown, but it's long. It's like a it's not a gown, but it's a summer dress, but it was also it was cold. Well, not in Sydney, but it was cold at night and kind of warm in the daytime. So you might need a coat or you might need like some long sleeves. So this is what I had on. This is a dress, form fitting down to my down to the floor. I lifted it up so y'all could see my legs and my shoes. But it that's the fabric, and yeah, it's a bell sleeve, tight, form fitted like a mermaid dress. Well, yeah, the bottom half is like mermaid. Anyway, it looked cute. And so the dude walks up to me, the gay boy walks up to me and he says, "Oh my God, you look so fabulous." Like he started talking about how I look. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And he hears my accent. And he was like, "Oh, you're American?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "That's why you're fabulous." He was like, "But you're American." Like he does both of these things where he jokingly says, "You're American?" Da, 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 da. And then he says, "Oh, but you're American." And we laugh about it. And we kind of sit down and talk, and he was like, and basically the politics of America, blah 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 blah. So even when motherfuckers don't like us, they be liking us. And I was like, I'm Black American, baby. So there is a difference. We don't really align with their politics like that. Not all of us. Many of us don't. So it's different. And he started laughing. He was like, "Yes, I know." He was like, and we just go into this whole conversation about that. So even if they don't like Americans, they will fuck with us because we the Black people of this culture. And so that's when I ran into some Aboriginal people, and they were talking. They added their 2 cents, like, yeah, that we relate to y'all because we understand how the white bigger culture moves and shits on us and make it seems like they don't, and they do. And then the one girl was talking about colorism, and she was explaining, just like in India, how the ones that are fair skinned and blue eyed and funny color eyed Indians are just more praised and put on a pedestal compared to the dark skinned chocolate Indians that don't have them kind of Eurocentric features. And so we were talking about that. She was like, "It's the same thing here with the Aboriginal people. Usually, even if she showed me, she's like, even if you Google Aboriginal people, the people you see ain't gonna look like me. But most of us look like this." And I told her, I said, and she agreed. I said, and when you look at the white people in this place, you can tell that they got Aboriginal blood in them. Like because they look like, some of them look like passing biracials. Like, you like, I know you white, but it's some POC up in there. It's some color blood up in there. Like this dude, this is not one of the people, but this is an example. So y'all know, y'all know Erling Haaland. He's a Norwegian soccer player. But when you look at him, I don't know if y'all see it, but I see it. When you look at him, it looks like it's some nigga up in there. Like, look at his face. Like, he white, but that ain't normal white. You feel what I'm saying? Let me go to another picture. Look at him. He white, but that's not normal white. That's something in there. That's something up in there. There's a here's an up close picture. He white, but if you told me that your great great grandmother was black, I would believe you. Do you see what I'm saying? He don't. If you look at shit, he almost like he could be my white cousin. We don't look too much different from each other. we definitely could be distant cousins. That's what I'm talking about. So I can see them. Now, this is not somebody from this area. This is somebody Norwegian. This is they from Norway. But this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where you will see people that look like him running around Australia, and you's like, I'm seeing some Aboriginal in you. He can pass as a black albino. Yeah. Where it's like, it's given light skin, biracial. Where I can see you biracial, but I can tell you could pass back in the day too. His name is Erlen Holland. He's sexy though too. I will have him down. But then I'll have these. Let me go to these pictures. Where is the picture of? I took a picture of this lady. I was like, girl, I can tell you got some Aboriginal in you, baby. I can see it. I guess I didn't take a picture of her. But yeah, she was given it was given all of that. It was given you can when I talked to her, I was like, you can see these white people, you can tell that they got y'all in their blood because y'all they don't look like typical European white people. They look like they got some black in them. They look mixed. Like, they looking very octoroon. Like it's giving quadroon octoroon, baby. Like I'm seeing it. I'm looking at it. And I think some people don't have, because of their culture, some people don't have racial IQ. So they ain't seen enough people in their life to see the nuances of that. And I have. And so it's given that. It's given very octoroon, baby. Quadroon octoroon. Yeah, so a lot of cultural stuff that I learned. I loved it. It was amazing. I had a good time. It was fun. And yeah. Super, super fun trip. I do want to go. Because I couldn't afford it, I couldn't make a trip to the South Island. My goal was to do that, but when I added the Sydney portion of my trip, it just took it out of my price range to be able to afford, unless I came home broke with no rent money. um, um, and was struggling, but no, I wasn't going to do that. But I didn't have enough money to go to South Island, so I would love to go to New Zealand again and go to South Island. And I kind of know what to expect. So I was expecting New Zealand to be um a little more like Sydney. I thought New Zealand was going to be a little bit more like Sydney, but Sydney is like a fire ass city. It's like a city. It's giving city. And so New Zealand is giving very it's giving Seattle. It was a city, but it was a small city, and you can go out and it gets real rural. Um, Beautifully rural. It's beautiful. Um, so now that I know what to expect, I would love to go to South Island and visit all of the rural shit that South Island, because I once I found out about South Island, I was like, oh, I started Googling. I was like, oh, this is just the beauty that I remember in the movie of Lord of the Rings, the beauty of the landscape, the beauty of the what I saw, what made me fall in love with the cinematography of Lord of the Rings. That was in South Island. It was in North Island too, but tons of other places that you can go to that aren't as touristy in South Island. And so I want to definitely go there one time in my life. I don't know when, because I don't know when I'll go back, but that is definitely on the to-do list now. Um, I also want to go other places in Australia because Australia is a whole fucking continent in itself with you know different places you can go. The north side of the island is given way more like the Polynesian islands. Then you go to the left side, which gives very desert. I also want to go to this place in on the west side of Australia, where they have like lavender fields, and I want to go there. That also was a dream of mine, to go to the lavender fields there. Um because I want to take some pictures in the lavender field that's not in France. I mean, that's I'm not France. That's not in Italy, because everybody do the lavender fields in Italy. I want to do the ones in Australia, because they have, not only do they have the rows of lavender fields, but they also have red dirt like Mississippi. Lavender fields in Australia. So it's that purple with red dirt in the lavender farms. This is in Tasmania, but there's another place. There's other places too. So they have lavender farms, but the dirt is red, and I want to go there in a yellow dress. Imagine me in a yellow dress with the red dirt and the lavender fields. Wouldn't that be fire? I would love to take some pictures. Super, super pretty. So I want to do that. Make sure you thumbs up if you're still watching. So yes, I want to do the lavender fields in Australia. Um, um, where else in this area? Yeah. But yeah, that was my trip. That was what it was. All right, I had a couple of things I want to talk about. Where are we at? We're at 2 hours. Um, also, while we talk about trips, make sure that you check your points on your credit cards. So check your reward points on your credit cards because for this trip, I didn't have to pay for any of my hey Golden, I didn't have to pay for any of my hotel. I had to build up so many points on my credit cards that I was able to have my hotel for free. Like I didn't have to pay for any of my hotel stay while I was in any one of the and I still got some points left over. So in Auckland and in Sydney, my hotel was free. So basically, only thing I paid for while I was on this trip was my flight there and my food. And food is cheaper in these places because the dollar goes further. So this trip didn't really sit me back too much. My flight there, flight to the 3 flights and the food. That's all I had to worry about, and the transportation. So you got to pay for Ubers, but the Ubers were super super cheap. They were like $7, $5, $3, super super cheap. So yeah, make sure you have make sure you check your rewards points to see if you can get some hotel cuts or even travel. Especially if you have like a travel credit card, make sure you check that. So I want to talk about this and see if y'all agree with me. So I listen to podcasts. I'm a podcaster. I listen to podcasts. So one of my genres of podcasts that I love because I love music are music-based genres, particular music-based podcasts that particularly like R&B and soul music, whatever, any kind of like black music, black musical podcast. So R&B Money. My 3 favorites are R&B Money, hosted by Tank and Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine's so fine, and Tank's so sexy. Um, I also listen to We So Crazy. That's hosted by 4 dudes. I can't remember their name. One is Claude Kelly, mm, something Bacon from Macon, or I can't remember his name. Um, it's 4 dudes. They're producers and musicians that have worked in the industry for a while, and so they know music. They're connected to a lot of stars, and so We Sound Crazy, really really good show. They interview people. They got good games. They're smart. They're just really really good. I love that podcast. Um, and my second one is Sean Stockman. Sean Stockman is one of the dudes from Boys to Men, the skinny face chocolate one. He has the softer voice, not Wanye, but the other. They all were lead singers, but the one had the skinny brown. He was dark skinned one with the skinny brown face. Sean Stockman. So I love these are my 3 favorites. I listen to other ones too, but these are my 3 favorites because they have their hosts have the history and they hosts have the connection to the music industry that You get the behind the scenes conversations and you get the musical conversations and da 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 da. So one thing that I don't like, it's not that it's not to the point where I would stop listening, but sometimes on R&B money there is a very misogynistic air of the show, especially if they got a misogynistic guest. And so sometimes I side eye them. Sometimes it's like, y'all right there on the line of where I'm gonna stop listening to y'all because y'all doing too much. And it you or that's one thing. So sometimes they'll get real locker room talkish, and it's like, what is happening here? Or another thing that kind of gets annoying, and this is I'm talking about R&B money right now. Another thing is I hate when they try to now how can I say this? They're consistent. Now if you consistent with it, I fuck with it. But what I want to talk about is the inconsistencies and why not. So another thing that comes up a lot because they're talking about R&B, you cannot talk about R&B without talking about the bad boys of R&B, like R. Kelly, Chris Brown, people who have some bad histories. So even like L.A. Reid, or hip hop. They sometimes hip hop come into the conversation because that there's a lot of overlap musically, and Russell Simmons, and you get what I'm saying. There's some shit that come up, and sometimes when R. Kelly comes up or Chris Brown comes up, they're very, it's not explicitly like it's very rape apologist or very separate the artist from his bad reputation, which I get, understand it, cool. But sometimes they be teetering that line where it's like, you didn't even have to bring this up. You can just talk. We don't need to hear. And I said this a while ago, and y'all tell me if y'all agree. I feel like because R. Kelly is somebody who is such a polarizing thing, what he has done, da 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 da. When you publicly say that you fuck with R. Kelly, you aren't just making a stance about music, because you can still listen to R. Kelly and nobody know about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, nobody is sitting with your earphones cutting your phone when soon as an R. Kelly song cutting off. You can listen to R. Kelly and nobody knows that you listen to it. But when you come out your mouth and say, I don't care about all of that stuff, I still listen to these songs, what you're saying is you don't care about the victims. You don't care about their harms. You feel what I'm saying? That's what you're saying. I know you're trying to say, I want to look past that and just listen to the music. But you can just do it. You can just do that without declaring anything. You making Facebook statuses, you're making a declaration of it, says more about how you don't give a fuck about victims or their harms. And cool. All right. But that says a lot, because you don't have to tell us. You can just talk about the music. We lived, especially if you're in a certain age bracket, and Tank is like 50 something. Especially if you lived in a certain age bracket. We lived through the 90s. ain't no 90s motherfucker who lived in the 90s. Can't nobody tell you that R. Kelly wasn't the fucking shit. R. Kelly was the fucking shit. When it comes to R&B music, can't nobody deny that. It's undeniable. Hit after hit after hit, song after song after song, album after album. It was fire. Our 90s R. Kelly was fire. We don't you can't, it's undeniable. You don't need to say it. So when we talking about R&B music of the 90s, we know. You don't have to say anything about his harms. You can just be like, yeah, this is when R. Kelly was at his peak. He had this out, he had this song, this was the vibe. You can just talk about the music. You don't have to make no declaration about, I don't care about that stuff. You don't even have to say that. You can just talk about the fucking music and we can go along with the conversation because we know this is a musical podcast. We don't need you to make a declaration about how you don't care about the harms. We don't need it. We don't really care. But what about R&B Money podcast, that what they do consistently is that they consistently say, we don't even want to get into the depths of that. We just want to talk about the music, cool. And they are consistent with it, okay? So that's what I respect about them. They like, we don't, and even when they talk about Chris Brown is their homeboy. So anytime they talk about the bad boys, they try to just not go into the conversation. Let's just talk about it through the musical lens. So what I respect about them, sometimes some people will push them over the edge where they're talking about it, but they're good at editing it out. They're good at trying to steer their conversation back to the music. That's what I respect about them. So recently, Sean Stockman, on his podcast is called On That Note. He recently had Shanice. I love your smile. So Shanice, that Shanice, 90s, early 90s Shanice. Sean seems a bit bitter about the music industry. Yes. And so that's what I want to, and I understand it. I want to talk about that, but let me go on a tangent. I hate motherfuckers to romanticize things that wasn't. I hate motherfuckers that romanticize things just based on either being a great or being a part of the greatness of an era. So every motherfucking body wasn't a Whitney Houston. Everybody in the industry at the time that we talking about 90s and 80s, when we glamorize the time of you had to have talent back in the day. No, you fucking didn't. There's many bitches who didn't. Was there Whitney Houston's, Mariah Carey's, Boys to Men, people who could just flat, Luther Vandross, who could stand in front of a mic and flat-footed sing? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there also were motherfuckers who didn't know how to sing. Paula Abdul. There were people who were making hits, who was out here, who we are saying are legends now, who were very average, if or below average singers that was still making hits. There were, I love her, but she was like Rihanna. No, she was kind of like Rihanna. Aaliyah. When we talk about vocal ability, Aaliyah was the lowest of the girls who we celebrate. Aaliyah was maybe Maya, but out of the three, Brandy, Monica, and Aaliyah was the lowest skilled vocalist of that era that we praise. Am I telling the truth? I don't. To me, as far as vocal ability, I feel like Aaliyah She had a pretty tone, but she was nowhere near Mariah Carey, wasn't nowhere near Whitney, wasn't nowhere near Brandy, wasn't nowhere near Monica. Her and Maya was kind of like that. There was levels. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is it's not that they didn't have any skill at all, but it was levels to skill. You get what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't the fucking greats. When we think about SWV, was Coco great? Yes. Was Coco Whitney Houston? No. But was Coco great? Did Coco's define a sound of R&B? Yes. Was T-Boz great? Was T-Boz great? Was T-Boz Whitney Houston? No. But T-Boz had a sound that was unique to her. That defined a fucking era. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, everybody wasn't the greats. Everybody wasn't a Whitney Houston Luther. Everybody wasn't that. So making it seem like everybody in the industry was the vocal Bible, or not, that's Brandy. But everybody wasn't like top tier. There were levels to what was sickening, what wasn't. That's just what it was. Who else? What else? And so I don't like when people romanticize it like everybody was great at the time of the 90s. Everybody wasn't fucking great. Everybody wasn't great. There was some medium people. There were some mid people. And there were some people who I feel like Maya and Aaliyah are on the same level. I don't see much difference in them in regards to skill level. I do. Yeah, no, I was about to say something. I was about to say that Aaliyah had a better tone, but no, there was some times where I felt like Maya tone was hitting. Yeah, I feel like Aaliyah has a better catalog of songs because she connected with some fire ass songwriters. Of course, Maya was the dancer out of all them hoes. Maya was the dancer. Um, but I feel like because I love Aaliyah's tone on "Let Me Know, Let Me Know." She sounds so good. Her tone sounds so good on that song. But I feel like Maya on the song she did with Jadakiss, I feel like her tone was fire. I feel like her tone on "Falling Head Over Heels, I'm falling in love with you, I'm falling. I can't get it, don't wanna get it because of love." That her tone on "Falling," fire. Her tone, it just was perfect. Like her tone was fire. Um, um, yeah, I just think I think they're very equal in the sense of yeah, Maya and um Aaliyah very equal to me. They didn't have the power of Monica, the maturity and power of her sound of Monica, and they didn't have the agility and tone of Brandy. Yeah, it just wasn't. So anyway, my point in saying that is then we had recently I saw a video of this girl singing, and she was somebody's mom who had passed away, but she was singing something. I don't know what song she was singing. It sounded like a gospel song, but it was horribly 90s. Y'all know how 90s singers back in the day used to sing, and it was not horrible. It's not horrible. It was cute for the moment, but now it's like kind of cringy. I wish I could I gotta find it for y'all, just so y'all can understand what I was talking about. A moment in musical history where it was captured is Tasha on Thuggish Ruggish Bone. It's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That bone. The way Tasha was singing, that is so 90s. We got crazy and lazy. This is in the house. Rich is in the house. And then you got Tasha Cleveland, definitely in the house. It's a vibrato. It's a lot. It's 90s, but it's a lot. I have to find that video where when we were hearing it then, it was like, yes, but now with my ear, now I'm like, ooh, it's kind of cringy a little bit, but let me see if I can find it. I saw it a couple of days ago, so that's how Wanye sings. No shade. Yes, Wanye is a 90s singer, and it's not that it's bad. It's not that it didn't wear us out. Moke and Steph, he's mine. The remember how the verses sound of Moke and Steph? He's mine. What the fuck is that? I don't know the words at all. But the way the verse sounds on Moke and Steph on He's Mine, that was so 90s. The way she sings. Your activities. This is I have to find this because it is a perfect example of 90s singing. Whitney used to read Kanye for that kind of singing. Whitney read Kanye for singing, doing too much runs. Too much runs. And because she asked, I remember Brandy was like, he said that she asked Brandy, yeah, he can sing, but can he hold a note, child? What's that to you? I really want to find this video because this video is such a perfect example. It was so 90s. And when I first heard it, I was like, ooh, this is so cringe, but it is so 90s, child. It is so 90s. Oh, I hope I find it. Oh, here we go. Bam. That is 90s. That is Countess Vaughn. That is Escape. That is Tiny from Escape. That is even Candy sometimes. It was a thing. It was Monica's first album. It was a 90s. Like that sound. It was when I heard it, I was like, ooh, because when we were listening to it in my younger years, it was like yes, but now as I'm getting older, it's like, oh, that's heavy. That's a lot. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Tanya Blount, yes, Tanya Blunt, or however you say her name. Yes. Lauryn Hill, not as much. So this is the key. This is the thing about it. I think the people who we love, who stayed relevant, they learn how to control it a little bit. Or it was a little bit, they learn how to control it and learn how to turn it down in certain things. Lauryn Hill was one. I think Monica adjusted a little bit later, but that first album, it was heavy. Yeah, they adapted. And also, I don't think like Mary J, you hear it in some of her songs, but sometimes it was just so, their voice was so, that's why Brandy was Brandy, because Brandy really didn't have that like that. Brandy's wasn't like that and really at all. I can't remember a time when Brandy was given that. Monica, yes. But that's what made Brandy sound so different, because it wasn't like that. It wasn't heavy like that. So anyway, I wanted to point that out, where I don't like when people romanticize, even when we think about like the 60s and the 70s. Diana Ross wasn't the best singer. She can sing, she can hold a tune, but the bitch who was singing was Florence Ballard. When we think about it, and what's this thing? Gladys Knight, the people from that era, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle. The people who we put on a pedestal wasn't just because of talent. Yeah, you had to have talent in some instances, but everybody, that motherfucking Madonna wasn't the best singer. Child, come on, get out of here. Madonna wasn't the greatest. Every era has their people that were created, not because they were the best fucking talent. And so I don't like when people over exaggerate. Oh, this was a time and da da da. I'm not saying that there weren't greats that came out in the 90s. Absolutely. We have some fucking greats. But making it seem like you had to be great to be successful, you a fucking lie. There was so many girls that was not great. There were so many people that were not, they were cool. They were either mid, and some of them were fucking bad. It just was, there was a lot of mid people. A lot of mid people. So anyway, get to my point. So Sean has Shanice on his album. I mean, on his podcast, not his album. Shanice on his podcast. And so Shanice, what they do, like, they talk about the history of the artists that they have on the show. And so one of Shanice's first ever jobs was a Burger King commercial with Ella Fitzgerald. Google it. I mean, YouTube it. It is so cute. So Shanice is in the commercial with Ella Fitzgerald, and they put her next to Ella, and they tell her to mimic what Ella is doing. And Ella does something, and Shanice at 9 years old, 7, 8, 9 years old, mimics what Ella does on camera. It's love. So they put it into the commercial. And so she's telling the story. She like, yo, I could do what she at 7, 9 years old. I could do it. And Ella was surprised, like, oh, she good. You get what I'm saying? Ella giving her rides. And so it's a commercial with Ella Fitzgerald. I was like, how sickening is that for a flex? To have a commercial with the Ella Fitzgerald when you fucking 9. Bitch, that is a flex. That is sickening. to me. And she says, I'm young, so I don't know who Ella Fitzgerald is in regards to context of music. I just know she's a singing lady. So I just came to be a part of the commercial. And honey, she's just giving all her stories. So I wanted to tell that. So that's sickening. So listen to that one. But she gets to the part about I Love Your Smile, and she's telling the history about the song. And Shanice is saying, I wanted to be a rapper. That's where I rapped on that song. She was like, at the time when I was growing up, I wanted to be MC Light and Queen Latifah and Salt and Pepper. So I'm a singer, but when I'm younger, I could always sing. Like singing was just okay, I can sing. She was like, I used to be in the choir with James Cleveland. Like I was young with a choir of adults because I was good enough to be in James Cleveland's choir. So she's telling her history and it's blowing them away. Like, oh man, da 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 da. Oh, I keep going on side stories, but I need to go back to one. I'm just gonna name this because it's not because I brought her up. And so her episode, she was dropping fucking gems. So I talked about Paula Abdul. So while Paula Abdul vocally was very mid or below mid, Paula Abdul was a dancing diva. Honey, when it comes to that early 80s, that 80s dance choreography, Paula was that girl. She was the Fatima Robinson of the culture. She was honey, she was a LA Lakers girl. She was, when it comes to dancing, she set the standard for Janet Jackson. She was her choreographer before Tina Landon. Um Paula was the dancing girl. Paula was, prior to Janet, I can't think of somebody who was the dancing girl in regard to dancing that was better than Paula. Paula was the girl. So when it comes to dancing, she was that girl. So what I didn't know with Paula Abdul is how many motherfuckers who she put on. Like that's what I didn't know about Paula. Y'all need to watch her. She is the iconic Laker girl, absolutely. I never knew anybody before her, right? Amen. She is the one. But I didn't know how many people. Let me name some people that she put on. Christy motherfucking Turlington. The Christy Turlington. Model extraordinaire. Christy fucking. So when we talk about supermodels, Naomi, Linda, Christy, Cindy, she's one of the ones. She's one of the soups. She's one of the supers. Paula Abdul is the one that found her. Didn't know that. Shit it. She ate that up. Also, she didn't discover them, but she's one of the first artists signed on Virgin Records. So there's that. But some new producers that she wanted on her album that motherfuckers wasn't fucking with yet, that she put on, Babyface and L.A. Reid. So if you think about what they would go on to do, now they already had a couple of hits. They were upcoming. So they had Wale and, you get what I'm saying? They were coming. It wasn't like they weren't out here doing their thing, but they just weren't big yet. And Paula said, I want to have them. She got them their first publishing deal. Babyface. Think about what Babyface go on to do. Who he becomes to the culture. Paula Abdul said, nah, we putting them on. I know y'all don't want this, but I want it. I want to make this happen. Crazy. I was like, oh, Paula, and Paula didn't put her motherfucking stamp on the industry, baby. Motherfuckers fuck with Paula. She just had the ear. She knew what she wanted. So anyway, I wanted to not skip over the Paula since I brought her up. I didn't want to shit on Paula, but we know Whitney was like, child, Paula was off key on the record. We know Paula wasn't the best vocalist, but I just wanted to show her love too, because she was the dancing diva. And she had a good ear. And so you don't have to be super, super talented in one area. You can be talented in other areas too. So anyway, there's that. Okay. So yeah, back to Shanice. So I'm going all over the place. So Shanice start talking about I Love Your Smile and how the people, she didn't want that to be her single. She wanted to rap. So the compromise was she did the song, but she wanted to do a rap on it. So that's why she ended up rapping on I Love Your Smile. And so they go into this conversation and she was like, oh, and then somebody remade it recently. Chris Brown remade it. And she was telling a beautiful story about Chris Brown, how he recorded it and reached out to Bill Bellamy to find her so he can show it to her before he brought it to his bigwigs to release it, before they got it approved, before they do all the money, the business side of it. He wanted her to listen to it just because, out of respect. This is Shanice. I love Shanice and I love this song. And out of respect, I want her to hear what I'm doing. And she said he didn't have to do that. Like, they don't have to show you any kind of reverence. And so she was basically giving Chris Brown his rise for being so sweet by contacting her about the remake that he was doing. That's all she was giving to Chris Brown. So this was about the music. So Sean Stockman has a dude off camera who kind of jumps in sometime to steer the conversation. Sometimes he'll share his opinion. I don't know who the dude is, but he's off camera. It's usually Sean and his guest and the dude. But you know he's in the room and he'll jump in every now and then to keep stuff on track. Okay? And so when Shanice says this, when Shanice give Chris Brown his rise for being sweet enough to contact her and get her blessing for his remake, the dude jumps in and says, yeah, we're fans of Chris Brown. Chris Brown is a good dude. And I know he has, I know people's opinion of him, but he has a good heart and he's a really good dude. He's a good brother. And then Sean chimes in agreement and says, yeah, y'all gonna have to stop talking bad about Chris Brown, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is one of the moments where I'm like, Sean, and if this was the first moment, I wouldn't have said nothing. I'm like, okay. But this is the problem. I had a response from them in a previous, so right in this moment, Sean, we're not talking bad about Chris Brown when it comes to his music. Chris Brown is skilled enough to be undeniable when it comes to his music and his skill of singing, his skill of being an entertainer. Chris Brown is good. Chris Brown is a good artist. Chris Brown makes good songs, makes good music. He does. That's undeniable. Nobody is talking bad about Chris Brown when it comes to his music. Nobody is. Nobody is doing it. I don't know anybody who doesn't praise Chris Brown when it comes to his music. I don't know anybody who doesn't praise him. I think he's good. He's a good artist. What people talk about Chris Brown is his anger management, his abuse, his colorism. And yes, it started with Rihanna. It started there. But that isn't the only thing that happened. It is multiple things that happened in the course of his career that was rooted in his anger management, that was rooted in his in colorism. It was rooted in a lot of the shit that people critique him about. Nobody talks about the music. If sometimes motherfuckers don't fuck with you when they find out that you are an abuser or you're a colorist or you're weird. You're a weirdo about color. And so nobody is talking bad about the music. Now, why that is important to me to mention, let's go back a month before this, and why it annoys the fuck out of me where I'm talking about it. So remember what I just said about Chris Brown. It's not about the music. You bringing up something outside of the music. We don't talk shit about Chris Brown about his music. If you want to stick with the music, just talk about the music. Yeah, don't say how he's a good dude and y'all talk about it. Talk about how he makes great music. Because y'all like to focus on the music, focus on the fucking music. Because y'all are selective about when y'all want to focus on the music. And I have a problem with that. Let's go back a month before. He does an interview with L.A. Reid. Okay? L.A. Reid, we just was talking about how Paula Abdul just found him, and it wasn't that they weren't out, but Paula Abdul was a key part of getting him a publishing deal. So we get that. He also wasn't one of the greats. He was a great executive because he was exploitative. But that's what I'm getting into. So if you listen to the L.A. Reid interview, they get deeper into, they talk about the music, but they start, because he plays a role as being an artist that went into executive, they went into the business side of the conversation, how business have changed, how streaming has changed business, how streaming has changed contracts, and blah, 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 blah. And one moment in the interview, he was given a critique of how the business has changed and how it's been focused, it's taking away the integrity of the artist. And he is complaining, going back to what I talked about, but what we were talking about with Sean, that bitterness about the music industry. Sean was never an executive. He is an artist. So the bitterness about people getting popular and not having talent, I actually totally understand it from a person who has been an artist, who has talent. It's like, ooh, y'all ain't even flat-footed singing like y'all used to. Da, 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 da. I actually understand it from him. But L.A. Reid was a drummer who was connected to artists. He was not a talent like that. He turned into an executive because that's what he should have been. He was finding artists who were better than him. He was connected to Babyface because Babyface had that fucking, the hardest fucking pen in the game. So we only know you for real, because of Babyface's talent. Tell me if I'm lying. Not saying that he didn't bring something to the table executively, but when it comes to talent, Babyface, the Edmonds family was the talent. Anyway, he started having a conversation about how the industry is changing and the integrity of the artists. They losing integrity and they're not focused on the talent anymore. He just giving this I don't know, this air of, I don't know what the word is. Is it self-righteousness? I don't know. But what I do know is that, nigga, you are one of the culprits that had some of the most publicized exploitative contracts. When it comes to TLC, when it comes to Tony Braxton, these people are publicly talking about, shamed on Oprah at one point, about having to do bankruptcy because y'all were so exploitative in your practices around their contracts. So now all of a sudden, when these companies, these bigger white companies, are exploiting y'all, now it's a whole problem. When you were exploiting the artists on your label, it was all good, making your riches. Now you good and comfortable. And now these Spotify's and streamings and are making money off of y'all, the artists. Now you want to be self-righteous and holier than thou. And back in my day, no, bitch, you was exploiting too. You were just the beneficiary of the exploiting. Like, you act like we don't remember. You act like we don't know. Are you fucking serious? Like, your practices compromise these artists. Your exploitative business practice compromised their integrity too. Am I tripping? Don't we all know that that's why Tony Braxton and TLC and other artists, why Pink left y'all motherfuckers? Do you see what I'm saying? Y'all were exploitative. Get out of here. So when he was having that conversation, I went into the comments and I said, it's so ironic to hear him talk about piracy, money, and value of artist contributions when his artist notoriously was getting fucked over financially by his label. So the fact that he's sitting on this podcast talking about piracy, money, and the value of artist contributions, and he is known for not paying them well, it seems hypocritical. Am I tripping? Or am I... Wouldn't that seem hypocritical to y'all that this motherfucker who exploited his artists is talking about valuing artist contribution? Like, nigga, are we romanticizing because he had all these artists that we know are great? Are we romanticizing and erasing the history of him being exploitative to these artists? Like, are we forgetting that? I'm not understanding it. So I don't like that. I didn't like it. And so when I wrote that in the comments, people were saying, oh, and so another thing that I wrote, let me go back to it because I wrote two comments. Somebody said, I don't know where I put it, where I can find it. I don't know what I said. But the gist of it is he blames those transgressions on Pebble and Clive. Child. Exactly. Okay. Okay. Sure. So in the comments, I say that. But there's somebody else wrote a comment that implied about the other stuff. So Drew Dixon accused him of raping her. That's out in the streets. And so that's another thing about this stuff. Y'all praising these men who have this ugly history. And so it's this nuanced conversation where it's like, ugh. So y'all got this dude on this show and y'all praising him, and these things are out in the world, and y'all are interviewing. And I didn't say this, but somebody mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, they ain't asking the hard questions that we want to know about. And somebody responded to me in a sarcastic way saying, oh, This is Sean Don't Do. You not getting that here. This is a respectable podcast. We only talk about the music. We're focusing on the music. We're not focusing on all that stuff. If you want to hear all of that kind of stuff, you need to go to the Shade Room, or you need to go to the Breakfast Club, or you need to go to the oh, cool. Okay, cool. Ain't nobody. Okay, I get it. This is just about the music. I get it. So I respond with, okay, cool. I get it. I understand. It's not that I don't understand that. You just trying to talk about the music. Great. So that brings me back to the Shanice conversation. Y'all checked me about that when I was calling that y'all wasn't asking no tough questions because y'all wanted to focus on the music. Cool. Gotcha. That's what's up. I see what we doing here. Gotcha. Y'all want to focus on the music. Great. So now that we're in the Shanice conversation and y'all bring up Chris Brown, she was giving a beautiful story about the music. But now you want to chastise us about talking bad about Chris Brown on shit outside of music. You brought it up. Nobody brought it up. You could have left talking about the beautiful story that Shanice was talking about, but you and your co-host, or you and the side nigga, come up, well, Chris isn't a bad person. Nobody said that Chris's music wasn't bad. What are y'all talking about? An abuser is a bad person. I don't give a fuck if he made Mozart level songs, if he made Chevalier level songs, if he made Stevie Wonder level songs, if he made Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson level songs. I don't give a fuck if he made any. If he's abuser, rapist, he's a fucking bad person. I don't care what level of talent you have. If you're abusing and raping people, that's what it is. That's what you're a bad person. I'm sure some serial killer in the past had some kind of talent that we could be like, oh, what a good talent. And he still was killing people. Okay. That don't make him a good person. Having exceptional talent doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't. It's just like beauty. You being exceptionally beautiful does not make you a good person. And I feel like with talent, motherfuckers try to make that something different. It's just that they don't give it to beautiful women. They don't give it to beautiful people. They don't ever say, but she's so beautiful. We might see that in the modeling industry, maybe. I don't know. But not as much as I hear in talent. How we use talent to look over people being bad people. You are just a bad person. You're a talented bad person. And if you are a person that is looking over somebody being a bad person just because of talent, and this is another element. I'm not judging your personhood based off what you do at work. When the motherfucker go to work, Chris Brown doing that sweet thing to Shanice doesn't mean that he ain't at home beating on his girlfriends. This is his work. I'm going to show reverence to Shanice and I'm trying to remake her song. That's his work. That's his industry. That's not his personal life. That's his work. Of course he's going to be good to a fucking legend like Shanice. Of course he's going to be fucking good to a legend like Sean Stockman, who was fucking in Boyz II Men. Of course he's going to be good to Stevie Wonder. Of course he's going to be good to Prince. Of course he's going to be good to other artists who are his peers in his work. Of course he's going to be good to them. That don't mean he's not an abuser. He's not an abuser behind the scenes in his romantic relationships. That doesn't mean that he don't have any anger issues. Barry White used to beat the hell out of his wife, Glow. Was Barry White talented? Did he have an amazing, deep, dark bass voice? Yes. Did he have shitty business practices where he bullied people out of publishing credit? Yes. He was a bad person. He was a bully. Was he talented? Yes. Absolutely. But he used to beat the hell out of her, out of Glow. Multiples of his girlfriends. But was he talented? Yes. Did he used to bully people out of writing credits? Yes. He literally would bully them out of credits. I'm gonna have you come in and play and write for song for me, but I'm not gonna put you on it. Do you want to be on? Or I'm not gonna give you no publishing, but I'm gonna put you in the credits, but I ain't gonna give you no money for it. Do you want this opportunity or what? That's how Barry White used to move. He wasn't a good person. Was he talented? Yes. But he wasn't a good person. Being talented doesn't make you a good person, and being good to he wasn't a good person to even his peers. But but being nice to your peers don't mean that you're a good person in any other aspect in your industry. You know what I'm saying? If your peers in your industry. So when the fucking public is critiquing him about the abuse, we don't need your motherfucking we don't need you to talk. Oh, y'all gonna have to stop talking about Chris Brown. He's a good person. No, bitch, he's good to you because he worked with you and you a legend. That don't mean he not a shitty person. Get out of here. And so this is a whole perfect example of how y'all real selective about when y'all talk about stuff. Because any other time it's like, let's stick to the music. But when y'all want to bring it outside of the music, y'all do. So, bitch, I'm gonna keep calling y'all hoes out. and like I said in the beginning of this conversation, I'm a fan of these shows. I'm a fan. I learned so much about the industry and so much history about certain songs, so much history about certain people. I love it. I love. I'm a when they are talking about music, I love it. But they real selective, and they never. And the crazy part, they never have to do this about the girls because the girls ain't out here doing the stuff that the niggas is doing. But it's never any kind of accountability when it comes to the harms that they cause. They don't want to talk about, and it's not, they don't want to talk about the harms, but then y'all are making excuses. Like, just shut the fuck up about the excuses. Y'all, I don't need to hear you tell me, oh, y'all need to stop talking about bad about R. Kelly. Oh, I don't need you to say, I know about all the other stuff, but just say what you like. I don't need all the extra shit to make me feel like I'm wrong for calling out a motherfucker who is an abuser. Fuck out of here. Fuck you. Just because you okay with that shit. I don't like that. It pisses me off. And that was a moment in the show that I was like, oh, so now when we was talking about it with L.A. Reid, y'all was checking me and saying, oh no. And these are people in their camp that was responding to me too. Y'all want to say, oh, you just focus on the music here. But y'all not just focus on the music. Y'all bring up the other shit too. So fuck you. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that. But yes, we are at 3 hours. I'm about to get off of here and go get me something to eat because I'm hungry. Hungry hippo. Make sure y'all thumbs up, and I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Happy birthday, Miss Polk. I forgot to say happy birthday to you. Mwah. She just had a birthday on the 5th.